No. Speaking of Brady, obviously him leaving New England,
Good transition.
what it is, man. But they had two big happen for them. Was it yesterday? I guess. Well, by the time whenever you guys check this out, it was the week of June 29th, 29th, 28th when this thing happened. So first, the big news was Cam Newton signing with the Patriots. Obviously, it's incentive based where he can make up to 7.5 million. I want to say, but obviously that was absolutely bonkers, man. When you look at the deal he signed for me, I loved it. I think it's a super low risk, high reward signing for the Patriots. Only a positive for the Patriots in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. And I think for Cam, it's only positive as well. When I break down both sides of it, when I think of the Patriots, if Cam comes in and he is healthy, you have an MVP caliber player, a player who's won an MVP, a player who's led a team to a Super Bowl, a guy who's dominated with sometimes not a lot of talent around him. He's a guy who could make something out of nothing with his arm and with his legs. So for the Patriots, that's a huge pickup if he's healthy. Now for Cam has a win-win situation because number one, if he goes in there and he balls out, oh man, it just adds to his legacy. It adds to the validation associated with him. For him, you think about the fact that number one, he's going to be able to prove that not only can I do it with Ron Rivera, but I also can do it with Bill Belichick. Not only can I win in Carolina, I can win in New England, and I'm doing it right after Brady, who, remember, Brady lost in the wild card round last year. So if he goes up there and wins one playoff game, he's able to say with the same roster pretty much, I went further than Brady did.
Actually, it would probably be a worse roster because all the guys they lost on defense.
Absolutely. So, man, that would be huge for Cam. And the flip side is this. If Cam goes up there and plays bad, hold on, give me a second real quick.
No, you're good. You're good.
I forgot I have my ringer on, man. I'm getting all these texts.
Oh, dude, you're popular, man. That's why.
Jeez. All right, that's what you edit, man, because you can edit this on out. We'd be good.
You're good, man. You're good, dude. No worries.
So now, when we're talking about the positive, though, for Cam Newton, like I said, with Cam Newton, if all those things go right, it's a major win. But now the flip side is this. Say he goes up there and stinks up the bed, plays terrible. He already has the built-in excuse. Number one, I'm coming off an injury. Number two, COVID-19. I couldn't get no off-season work with the guys. It took time to gel. It took time to get up to speed. So for him, he can't lose in this situation either. And then for Belichick, like I said, man, if Belichick can get Newton, if Newton is healthy and he's able to ball out, Belichick looks like just the genius. Like, hey, I did it with Brady. I won with Matt Castle. I've won with Jimmy Garoppolo. I've run with Jacoby Brissett. It doesn't matter. You just plug them and play them, and we're going to be successful. So for them, man, you can't go wrong. And worst case, if Cam stinks it up, when you get a high draft pick anyways, you might even tank for Trevor. So either way, they win it, man.
No, dude, it was a smart move on both sides, like you said. Cam, he's looking for a team. He's looking to reinvent himself a little bit. What better place than Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots? They got that system in place. And I think one of the things I was looking up too, there's probably like a knock on Cam where, you know, he's an inaccurate passer. He wouldn't really fit in with New England's system. If you look at his year, I think it was 2018, the year before he got hurt, this past one, he threw for like 66 or 67%. I don't know. I feel like he could be able to do that. I mean, that's when they got McCaffrey, so I'm sure a lot of those were like little dump-offs. But what do you think New England's system is? I mean, dump offs to running backs and just like those timing routes to Edelman and just short routes cross over the middle. So I think he could hit those guys, and then you add in the element of the legs. I'm sure Belichick's going to be able to scheme it for Cam Newton. He's not going to be an idiot and try to run a system that was more for Brady. He plays for his guys and he schemes against the opponent. So he's always going to find the outliers there. And Cam Newton, like you said, he was an MVP. I mean, he's ultra talented. I've talked about this before, I think. Top 10 potentially right now. Like I would say top 10 maybe right now, at least top 12 in the league when healthy. So this is like a steal for the Patriots. Dude, I was thinking about this too. You remember we were having this conversation about the quarterback contracts whenever they were first coming off the market. It was Tannehill, it was Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Dude, those look bad now. Those look bad contracts to me.
Yeah.
Tannehill, I don't know. I forget what Tannehill got. He definitely got over $20 million, though. It was like 25, 27.
Tannehill and Bridgewater got the most, but even Nick Foles' contract is more than this right here.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is this. When you talk Bridgewater, obviously he was going to get the most just because of the success that he had, the small sample size, and the history associated with him. For Tannehill, because he stayed in-house with the Titans, was why he got more. Because they knew him, he fit their scheme exactly in terms of what they were trying to accomplish. Now, with Foles, that was the old Philly connection in terms of the coaching staff in Chicago OC, so that played into that. The big knock with Cam was, number one, the health. They weren't able to properly evaluate him because of COVID-19, and that kind of played into it. And at the same time, he wasn't willing to take a deal that would have paid him more, but still was going to be backup money. Let's be real. The contract that Nick Foles got, even though it's more than this, it's still a backup. It's a backup / you're an open competition quarterback contract. It's not you're the clear-cut starter contract. When you look at Tannehill, when you look at Teddy Two Gloves, those two guys, man, their contracts say you're the starter.
Dude, I just looked up Tannehill, 4-year, 118, almost $30 million a year. Dude, that's terrible, man. I said it then. It even looks worse now with Jameis signing and now Cam. Yeah. Man, come on, dude.
He could produce, man. He could ball. He let it taste.
Come on, dude.
Fun fact, I know how big you are on fourth quarters, right? I know you are on clutch. You know Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, right? Future Hall of Famer and all these good stuff. Ryan Tannehill has more fourth quarter.
Come on, dude.
So, being said, just know Tannehill is all right.
Nah, dude. You got to look at everything. I mean, you could spit that out to me because Tebow had some of that fourth quarter stuff too, but eye test is telling you he can't throw the ball. His stats were terrible too. It was like a good one-hit wonder for Tebow. No one's paying him this type of money. So you can have something good on your resume, but that doesn't tell the whole story. So I don't really know what that means.
Listen, according to you, it does. We're stat guys, right? Only numbers, only the ones.
Man.
When you look at fourth quarter comeback, just know that for his career, he has more than your boy Aaron Rodgers. All right, and you know he had completion. He had a completion rating of 70% last year. Did you know that?
He had a lucky season, dude. Who you taking right now, Cam or Tannehill? Though, come on.
Well, I'm a Cam guy.
Yeah, but so it's Cam at $1 million, potentially up to $7 million, versus Tannehill $30 million. For 4 years. You got him locked in for 4 years. Now you have flexibility with Cam too.
I think it's not apples to apples though. Because Cam, think about in 2019, Cam played 2 games. In 2018, Cam played 14 games, but remember the end of the season got cut short because of the injuries. And we felt that even though he played 14 games, probably 5 to 6 of them he looked hurt. So all of that plays into the contract because they weren't able to evaluate. If this is a normal offseason, and teams could have flew Cam in, first off, Cam would have been signed by now. And then from a health standpoint, it wouldn't be any type of concerns around him because you would know. The only reason we knew Cam was healthy is because Cam was putting out there that he passed the physical. Cam was putting out the videos of him working out. But there's still going to be people that say, well, he's not healthy, man. He's bad. You know, he's old goods right now. He's hurt and this and that. Like, for me, I think that's the only reason why his contract is what it is. But for Cam, knowing that, hey, if this is the situation this offseason, where, okay, all the starting quarterback jobs have pretty much been locked up, and there's only 1 or 2 that were available right now, and they're going to have some questions about my health, okay, let me just take this deal. It's the best situation for me, and I got a best chance to win it in a division that's still going to be open. Now, I still think the Bills are going to be very competitive.
I did want to ask you that, if you have a quick hot take on the AFC East. But you can finish what you were saying, though.
So my thing is, I'm like, man, when you factor in all of those different variables, this makes the most sense for Cam. So even though he could have probably held out and waited a little bit longer to get more money, that didn't benefit him in this situation because regardless if you waited and signed yesterday or you signed a month from now, if you're not able to travel because of COVID-19, you're not able to check on the health of Cam Newton, it was still going to be those concerns and question marks around him.
Well, I was saying this last podcast or two, I'm surprised it didn't even happen earlier because I know Cam was interested in the Patriots a little bit, and the Patriots have stood him. So I always thought that should have been a match. I didn't really understand why it wasn't. and Belichick and the Patriots, they're just like sitting behind the scenes and they make it happen. That's why the Patriots are that organization. That's why they're the Patriots, and that's why the Titans are the Titans, dude. It's simple as that. They're overpaying for Tannehill. They're jumping the gun. That's what it is, man.
So for the Titans, Tannehill is an upgrade from the situation they're coming out of. They had Mariota for what did he produce?
Yeah, but even looking back on some of the other quarterbacks, so you could have gotten at a cheaper price, like Foles, like you mentioned, or even.
But he said outside of the year when he hopped on at the end of the season and took Philly to the Super Bowl and won it. When has he proven over a 16-game body of work that he can produce? If you point to the Pro Bowl season with Chip Kelly, that is strictly gimmick. That is strictly scheme because his full body of work says otherwise. Over a 16-game season, he has never been able to lead a team to the playoffs and be the guy. So that's why if you're the Titans, why take a chance on spending?
I'm not big on Foles though either. I guess I would take Tannehill over Foles, but I'm just saying at the price range. And then Jameis is the other perfect example. You could say those three quarterbacks, especially Jameis and Cam, getting $1 million. That's crazy.
You're the Titans. What fits your scheme? You have a quarterback in house who changed the way your offense looked like.
I'm just telling them they made a mistake.
Jameis, who had 30 touchdowns but 30 picks, that's a lot more turnovers. Turnovers will kill your team. So we looking at a team where Tannehill, it fits perfect. And the fact that when you talk about from a market standpoint, a timing standpoint, if he does this 2 years ago and he has another year left on the contract, money-wise is going to be different. But he does it in a year where he's going to hit the market. So now you got the Titans by the short and curlies, essentially. You're telling them, hey, look, man, you saw what I did. You saw what you have with Marcus Mariota. Both of us are free agents now. So you either could pay me, stay with what you know right here and continue to be successful, or you could take a chance on one of these names in hopes it works out. But if it doesn't, now you're stuck for the next couple of years on some turnover guy, some guy that turns the ball over rapidly, or a guy who's just not good enough to produce at this level for 16 games. You got to roll the dice, man. Go with what you know.
We'll see how it plays out, dude. I just wanted to bring that up. I guess it's a hindsight thing from my standpoint, but I just wanted to bring it up and let the Titans know how much of a mistake they made there, even though they couldn't really tell at the time. But I'm just
well this is my thing. Anytime is you in the GM role, I always get nervous because
we'll see, dude. We'll see.
You would have gave Jameis this massive deal.
No, dude, like $10 million. Like, dude, $10 million.
Turn the ball over. What's going on here?
I think anything in the teens would have been reasonable for Jameis if you were going to give him a year or two to start, like especially and then versus Tannehill's contract. That's what I'm saying. Those two, maybe you could say they're equal. Maybe I would take Jameis. I don't know, but for the price, Jameis provides more value, in my opinion.
He's more risk, more reward, though. He can throw you out of a game. You don't have to worry about that with Tannehill. That's the difference, man.
He's not winning you crap, though, dude.
He took them to the AFC Championship game last year, bro. What are we talking about here, man?
Dude, another thing with the Cam Belichick thing, though.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think that he's like, he's injury ridden, which obviously he has had injuries, or he's too beat up, he's too old. But I mean, you got to think he's only 31. I mean, exactly. And we talk about Tannehill, dude. He's had injuries too. I think he's 32. No one's thinking that of him. He just had that good year last year. I think that's all it's going to take for Cam and Patriots being in this good situation for him. If he has a baller year, man, he could get paid in this offseason. I'm sure he's going to want to. I mean, Russell Wilson's 31 too. Like, this is like a prime for most quarterbacks. Ben, you think?
Yeah, man. So Tannehill's 31, but he'll be 32 next month.
Yeah.
31, and yeah, he just turned 31 in May. So he's a year younger.
Yeah. And yeah, dude, I mean, think of the, like, even Ben, like, I know his whole career, like, he was always getting banged up. People were worried about him lasting. Dude, like, he's 30, he's 38 right now. He's had some of his best years the past 4 or 5 years. And I mean, I just think it's doable. I don't think it's like he's washed up or anything. I think he could have like this second leg of his career.
I agree with that 1,000%. And I want to say this, man, in terms of the injury concerns around Cam, you realize, let's see, he's been in the league 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it? Oh, Computer freezing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 3, 6. Yeah, so he's been in the league 9 years. He's played, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years where he has 16 games. 3 seasons where he's played 14 games. And then obviously last year was the only time where he only played 2 games. So in terms of durability, Cam plays in a ton of games. Now, when you look at Tannehill on the contrary, who has played 7 seasons? Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. He's played in 16 games 4 times. Then he played in 13 games in 16, 11 games in 18, 12 games in 19, and then obviously he missed the 17 season. Yeah, so when I'm looking at that, I'm like, bro, Cam is a lot more healthy and a lot more durable than him. And then even when you talk about Ben only has, 1, 2, 3. He has 4 seasons where he's played in 16 games. The rest, he has some 15, some 14, some 11, some 12s. Obviously, last year he played 2, but I feel like with Ben, nobody's looking at Ben in terms of, oh, man, he can't come back from injury or he's too injury-riddled and things like that. Whereas with Cam, they want to come up with this new narrative that he's banged up and beat up and can't stay healthy. I'm like, that's not been the case with Cam.
I think it's the running element because that's like a big part of his game. But I don't know. I think Belichick and the Patriots are going to set him up for success where he's not. It's either he's going to be smarter about the hits he takes probably, or Belichick's going to set him up in a much better position where he's not taking those type of hits.
Yeah, because I'm like,
that's what I'm thinking too. And then looking back, like I said, the 66 or 67% completion percentage he was throwing, I think he could do that if he were to maybe only have 200-300 rushing yards in a year and then sit back and like dink and dunk like Brett. I think he could do that. I definitely think he could.
Well, and this is the thing for Cam Newton, he's been consistently a 3,300 yard passer. His best year, he threw for 4,000 yards his rookie year. Excuse me. Other than that, he's a 3,300 yard passer on average. Then when you look at from a rushing standpoint,
it's like 500, 600, 700.
Hundreds. In 2018, he was at 488, so that was still going to be around 5. But that's traditionally where he's been. The biggest knock that I have on Cam is just the turnover element of it. He's another guy that has consistent double-digit interception seasons. He's only had 1 season where he had single-digit interceptions. That was last year when he only played 2 games. The lowest was 10. The lowest he's had in the season was 10 picks. So I think that's the biggest difference when you're talking about my concerns with Cam. It's not about his health. It's about the interceptions. I look at him similar to Ben, but Ben is more positive as a passer, and Ben still is throwing at a higher clip in terms of volume, in terms of attempts. Cam doesn't have nowhere. I mean, Cam's most attempts in the season was 517.
Yeah.
He's in the high 400s. When I look at Ben, we know Ben. Ben is a volume passer, especially lately in his career where he's 675 his last healthy season. 561, 509, 469, 608, 584. So it's a lot higher volume. So even though Ben has some double-digit some double-digit interception seasons, he's still throwing so much more. So it's not as big of a concern. Whereas with Cam, I'm like, bro, you're not throwing enough to be having this many interceptions in a season. But I do think with Josh McDaniels, he can get that cleaned up a lot because this is definitely going to be the best coaching staff.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, not even close. I mean, Ron Rivera is a good coach, but he's not Belichick.
No.
And when you how the Patriots run their organization from a stability standpoint, from just always being able to out-coach and out-scheme people, I think that they're going to be able to formulate something perfect just for Cam.
No, another thing, too, is that Cam, look throughout his career, he hasn't had any help at receiver for the most part at all. But he's been able to get MVPs and get them in the playoffs in a pretty consistent basis. And the Patriots don't really have that right now, but that's why I think it's a good fit for both sides, because I think New England needs a guy that can kind of shoulder the load like Cam has with the Panthers. So, yeah, it definitely makes sense, and I think he'll be able to do it just considering you have Belichick and that coaching staff, even though they do probably are a little bit lower on the talent pool right now, but they'll be able to make it work somehow.